Welcome to another episode of the Shifting Your Atmosphere podcast. Y'all, we on episode 7. I don't even know if I really thought I was going to be consistent enough to get to episode 7, but I made it. We made it. You made it. You're here today, so I'm happy. Okay, y'all. And for anybody who this is your first time seeing me or hearing about this podcast, I'm Simone, the host of this podcast, but also the founder of Shifting Your Atmosphere, where we aspire to help millennial women shift from their current mindset to the one that God has for them by teaching them to show up for themselves every day. And we do that through this podcast, support in support groups, as well as giving them practical everyday tools to use and any other resources that may need. Okay. Okay. So y'all know my allergies still not okay. And in the last episode, I edited out a lot of my drinking and my problems. But today, only thing I'm gonna edit out is if I say something twice or I say it wrong, so I go back and re-say. Other than that, I'm gonna just let it roll through because today's episode was not my plan. Okay. Yet again, today's episode was not my plan. So therefore, I don't have a big plan. I don't have a ton of notes. I don't have it all together for this episode. Actually, I never have it all together for any episode. If I've ever told y'all that or alluded to the fact that I have it all together or I have this all figured out or I'm an expert in any of this, that's not true. I never said that. Don't believe I said that. If somebody else told you I said that, I did. What I said was, or what I have been trying to portray, is that I'm living this. I'm truly, truly living what I'm telling you guys, and I'm willing to share my experience. It shows you that a regular person like me, a regular mom like me, a regular millennial woman and mom like me, chose to trust God, chose to show up for herself, chose to do different, and is choosing to step outside of her comfort zones. And that's what we gonna talk about today. Stepping outside of your comfort zones. So, little secret, but it's probably not really a secret, right? This is me stepping out of my comfort zone. Talking to y'all right now. This is me stepping outside of my comfort zone in a really, really big way. And even stepping outside of my comfort zone, he's making me step outside the comfort zone I've already stepped outside of by giving him full control over the thing that he's given me. So when he gets inside my mind, gets inside my spirit, gets inside and tells me, hey, look, we're going to pivot, we're going to make a shift. That's not what you planned is okay. But that's not where we're going today. That's not what I need you to hear today. That's not what I need for someone else to hear today, right? I'm a Lissy, but that means bear with me because I can't hardly breathe out my nostrils. But also because God only gave me about 2 or 3 points for this entirety of this podcast. So I just know he's finna speak through me because I don't have this one played out. Okay. So he gave me a couple of things, but that's all. But to start today, I did Google, very millennial of me, but I did Google, or ask Siri rather. I asked her for a couple of definitions because we gotta get the definitions to be sure you're not talking about what we think we talking about in the wrong way, right? So I asked Siri to define comfort zone, right? What Siri said was, a comfort zone is a place or situation where one feels safe or at ease and without stress. Then she went on to say times when we must act beyond our comfort zones. Then she went on to say, if you stay within your comfort zone, you will never improve. Girl, I didn't even ask her for the full details, but look, she already know what's up. She already knew I was going with it. If you stay within your comfort zone, you will never improve. And before we even get on to the last thing she said, let's just talk about comfort zones for a minute. Do you know what your comfort zone is? And I don't mean like the clunky thing you like to do. Like I like to lay in the blanket hoodie. I like to be under my dear God blanket. I like to snuggle up in a warm king size comforter in my bed. Like I like to feel warm and cozy. Though that's a comfort zone for me, right? I like hot wings. That's my comfort food. I like the presence of my grandma, and even the scent of her house will call me as a comfort zone because she's such a comfort to me, right? So I know a couple of my comfort zones. I know that I'm a comfort zone for my children. But then at the comfort zone we talking about, not the guilt, it's not the positive. We talking about the comfort zones today that are not so positive for you, but you're afraid to leave them. And it's okay. I was afraid to leave my comfort zones. Like I'm barely just stepping out outside of my comfort zone. It took me 5 to 6 years to do that. And probably almost 10 years before it's long too. I know, just somebody else. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. I I stepped out. Okay. I may have stepped down, stepped back in. I may have, as Mr. Brown say, T the top. I might have did a little something, but eventually I stepped out of my comfort zone. Once I learned it was a comfort zone, and not only that it's a comfort zone, but it's a comfort zone that was no longer serving me. It was a comfort zone that was only honestly a comfort zone in my mind because at one point it did have a positive use or effect or coping mechanism or loving trait or useful capabilities or something to some nature in some way, form, or fashion where it was positive to or for me, right? And I'm never going to negate that, ever. However, there comes a point in a time when good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, we have to do inventory of our comfort zones, right? And the reason we do inventory is because we have to eventually come to the conclusion or just come to the point where we're okay with assessing what does work and what doesn't work and what's no longer serving us. And even if we are not in the place in life that we want to be simply because of said comfort zones that we're unwilling to address or identify, because you can't even address it until you identify. So if we're unwilling to do these things, we'll never ever step out of the comfort zone because we haven't identified it and we have not addressed why it's a comfort zone for us. And if it's not a positive comfort zone, what is the mask or the lie or the false narrative that we are depicting in our own mind of the reason why we can't move beyond this comfort zone, right? It can be because we're afraid, we're fearful of what's on the other side. It can be because we are afraid to be alone. A lot of it is rooted in fear, right? It'll be fear plus, right? It'll be like, fear, I'm afraid of this. I will step out of my comfort zone because of this. And typically that's some form of fear because otherwise, ideally, it would be a positive, right? If there's nothing to fear on the other side of stepping outside of the comfort zone, then that means that it would be a positive comfort zone and it will probably be having a positive effect on us, right? But if in your mind, you are not 100% certain that the comfort zone that you're afraid to step out of is not, you know, a wolf in sheep's clothing, wearing a mask, and presenting itself as if it is positive or useful or something like that for you, but it's actually not, then you may want to do inventory. And I think for me, one of the ways that I kind of decided that was helpful for me to do inventory was a part 2 of one of your other old homework assignments, which was to pro and con. when I take inventory, I kind of pro and con. I list and then I pro and con. So let's do it with the comfort zone. First, we're going to start with the statement. I believe, or I have thought that I can't step outside of blank comfort zone because of blank, right? Once you get all your comfort zones, things that you think are comfortable, or even, let's say, if you're having a hard time figuring out how to take inventory of your comfort zones, or if you even have any, let's just take inventory of the things that you may feel like are keeping you in the place that you are. Or if you ain't even ready for that step, go all the way back to like the first episode of the podcast. Catch all the way up. It's gonna get you all the homework you need to get up caught up with us today. So I don't have to make this video in this podcast episode way, way too long trying to catch you up on all the steps, okay? Let's try to stick with today. Now, once you take inventory of said comfort zones or things that you may think might qualify as comfort zone that may be keeping you in a certain place that you no longer want to be, then take the ones that you feel like you are ready to deal with or address or you are ready to face. Hit the statement. The statement again is, I believe, or I have thought in the past that I can't or couldn't step outside of blank comfort zone because of blank, right? Now you have that. Now let's pro and con again. Why you can't do that, okay? So if someone says, "Oh, eating healthy food is stepping outside of my comfort zone," so the statement would be, I believe that I can't step out of my bad eating comfort zone because healthy food, I haven't tried any healthy food that tastes good, right? We know it's a lot of healthy food out there, right? You know it's a lot of healthy brands out there, right? You know it's like people who dedicate their entirety of their social media, their content, their brand, their cookbooks, their everything to recipes. There's even full-blown Southern restaurants that are healthy, vegan, low carb, low calorie, low sugar, people with diabetes, people with everything. And they got that available to you, right? You know, if you get in the kitchen and just try it yourself, right? You know that you could take it one step in time, right? You know you ain't got to clear out everything and go buy the highest, food because you might have a statement, but yours at the end may be because of the price of the healthier options, right? You ain't gotta throw everything out. You ain't gotta erase everything you ever thought. You could start with balance. You can start anywhere, but the point is you have to be ready to address coming out of the comfort zone, right? And I think the reason, the biggest reason we are afraid to come outside of our comfort zones is because we feel like we just gonna step out there into the middle of nowhere. We don't have any understanding. We don't have any knowledge. We don't have any proven facts in our personal life or even around us, maybe in our families or things like that. Or maybe just being due to trauma. There could be things that are the roots of the reason why we can't come out of certain comfort zones. So even once you've identified your comfort zone, you may want to identify your why. If you struggle with that, if you might need to get down to the root of what made it a comfort zone for you in the first place anyway, then keep tracking from there. But I went back to Siri, y'all. I went back to Siri and I said, okay, Siri, we know what a comfort zone is. But now define what stepping outside of the comfort zone really means, right? So she said stepping out of one's comfort zone means doing something that goes against one's natural tendency, and that can feel draining. That just by her definition, I wouldn't want to do it either. If I just read that and I was still in my comfort zone, I'm like, nah, I really don't have time to feel drained. I don't really have time to do things that are not natural to me, right? And we lived in a world at a time that tells us, I don't want anything that don't come natural. I don't want anything. They shouldn't be this hard. They should, like the old people say, anything worth having. Okay. Okay. You know it. If you don't, Google it. Google it. Right? Because you're going to have to put work into something. You're going to have to put effort into something. Everything is not going to come easy. Everything is not going to be a piece of cake, right? But back to what I was saying, the reason why I think it's hard for us to feel like we would even risk doing that, you feel to step out of what's comfortable to you, go against all your natural tendencies to feel drained and feel like you out in the middle of nowhere by yourself. You're like, no, no, no. Why would I do that, right? And I think the reason why we have such a hard time with that journey, them steps that Siri gave us, is because we don't really understand that when you step out of something, it's literally meant for you to step into something else. It's not necessarily always the same thing. It's not necessarily always the upgrade. It's not necessarily always the knight in shining armor, this, that, and the third. It's not always the cute, glitz and glammy stuff, right? It's not always that. But you are meant to step out of something and step into something else, right? And I think if we start to think about stepping outside of our comfort zone, along with the understanding of we're stepping out of this comfort zone to be able to step into blank, that's the next statement. After you figured out the first part of the interactive worksheet that we making up right now, after you've worked through that, move on to step the next part. I can step out of blank comfort zone because I'm going to step into blank, right? Because I desire to step into blank, right? Because I'm willing to step into blank, right? And they're probably, God get creative in the middle, regardless of what you think, regardless of what you want, regardless of if you invited me or not. God or life or both, they gonna get creative in the middle. But the point is that you're going to need to either know where you're going next and stepping out into. Even if you're wrong, you need to have an idea, right? Because that's going to help you and motivate you to do it. You need motivation behind whatever you're going to do. You need something to hold on to because stepping outside of your comfort zone is not a cakewalk and it's not easy. But you need motivation, right? So let's just say as a mom, if you say, I'm going to step out of my bad eating habits because my children need me, right? It's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. It may not be easy. I may not love it. I may not like it, but I'm going to step outside of my bad health habit because my children need me here. Because my family needs me here. Because I want to be healthy to continue to live the life that I'm living. I want to be healthy to watch my children grow older as well. These are the type of things that we may take for granted and we may not think like we always try to make it something big. I'm gonna make $1 billion. Okay, I hope you do. And if you do and you watch this podcast first, remember me. Remember me. Because I told you to step out that comfort zone and got you that $1 billion, right? Remember me. Okay. But man, everybody might not take $1 million. And honestly, people who have $1 million still got issues, still got problems, still got comfort zones that they're not willing to step out of. We may have, I think there's levels to comfort zones too, right? There may be a comfort zone that you're comfortable with stepping out of because it doesn't bother you as much or because you perfected your craft in that area or you perfected your ability to turn on and turn off the comfort zone. There's levels to it now. So for any of y'all who trying to skate by, feel like, I don't got no comfort zone. I don't got nothing to talk about. I don't got no area I'm not Okay. Okay. If that's really the answer, Cobb, because I want to have you on. So this another little seat over here for you. I want to talk to you and let's pick your brain for the people, so we can understand how we get there. Okay, how we get to a place where we have absolutely no comfort zone that we have to step out of, because as there's levels to comfort zones, there's also levels to growth, and as you grow, you're going to find another level that you may be uncomfortable with, because it's all rooted in the fact that you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's on the other side, but you have to know your motivation of why you're doing it and why you're willing to go through whatever you got to go through to get to the other side, because the comfort zone is no longer doing what it started out doing, and that's no longer work for you no more. So yeah, we're going to do something different, right? Right. And y'all, before we continue and get too deep into the episode, because it's getting deep. We gotta do what we always do. Head over to the Styledbyksymone fashion corner and do the full feet check. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Styledbyksymone fashion corner, where every episode we're gonna do a fit check. Now today, y'all like, why you got the mug instead of the mic key? Because my science is still not straight. So in between me trying to give y'all all the information, I might have to take a little sip, and the mic will be all right. Now, the commotion for today's outfit, the earrings. The earrings. I got these while I was just visiting Dallas from a beautiful, beautiful girl. She custom creates all of these, and she has a beautiful story. I'm going to link her below because I'm not about to botch her name of her business she has worked hard to create and market. So I'm going to link her below. Now, because I wanted all the energy to be around the earrings, this all the outfit giving, but it's still giving a nice little 1, 2, a nice little, we love a good basic. We love a good number that we could put our way on. Y'all see I go to the ground. I feel like a little pop of color with a peak toe gonna do it every time. You know, it's getting very classic, very sophisticated, very grown woman. And the hair is giving too because I love big hair. Now, you see the basics, you see the rings, and I got these two over here just to watch. Just the everyday bracelet. And I got glasses on because contact just ain't for you, girl, while her scientist is back. Now, what do y'all think about today's fit check? Let me know now. Let me know. Now, if you listen to the audio, go over to the TikTok, go over to the Instagram, find me at Styledbyksymone, and look at the pictures, look at the video. It don't matter. Get on the platform, find information, find what you want to look at, okay? If you listening and you can't see, okay? Now, before I be over here telling my outfit and my hair and my this and my that too long, let's get back to the episode, okay? Now, y'all, the fit checks are fit checking. The fit checks are fit checking. Now, I'm still trying to figure out how to get it horizontal and my height. I'm figuring it out, but until then, God told me to keep producing. So we gotta keep producing. I'm gonna keep showing the fit checks. And the rest of the video is gonna be at the proper format. Either way, it don't matter. Let's get back to the episode that we was talking about. Now, comfort zones. Yeah. Another reason why we may not be willing to step out of our comfort zone is because nobody talks about how it's okay. How it's okay to be all the things, to feel all the feels, to not be all the things, to be uncomfortable. It's okay to let people have their opinion of you as you step out of the comfort zone. And honestly, I think that's how we got to today's episode, right? I was loading the dishwasher. They'll follow through. I was loading the dishwasher this morning with my kids, and I was just, thinking subconscious thought of my things for the day that I was gonna get to. And I'm trying to fight my emotions, right? And the reason I'm trying to fight my emotions, honestly, is not because I'm not willing to feel my emotions and things like that, but I'm fighting my emotions simply because I have no idea what the emotions are about, right? PMS, she knows no address. She has no filter. She don't know anything, right? So I have no idea what these emotions are about. So I'm like, girl, pull it together because you about to go on a tangent for absolutely no reason, right? And God started to just put in my mind, it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay. And I think that's something that as you try to work on stepping out of your comfort zone, as you start to work on identifying your comfort zones, as you start to work on gets the root of why those became a comfort zone and why it seems impossible for you to get out of those comfort zones. As you start to work on all those things, he wanted me to know and he wanted you to know because I was trying to push through all those things. And this past weekend, I pushed through some of my comfort zones. He wanted all of us to know that it is okay. And y'all, as he was just talking to me and letting me know that it was okay, I think I slick wrote a poem. I don't know yet. Y'all let me know. But he gave me something. As I told y'all, he only gave me a couple of things, but he gave me something. So I'm going to read it to y'all. And I hope you really, I hope you really take it in and understand that it is okay. Okay? So I'm going to read it to y'all. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to show your flaws. It's okay to even break down your walls. It's okay to cry. It's okay to heal. It's okay to grieve any loss, even if that's the dream life you couldn't build. It's okay to walk away. It's okay to be strong and stay. It's okay to admit where you are. It's okay to accept the help that you need. It's okay to love others, but it's also okay to love on you. It's okay to have faith. It's okay to also give grace. It's okay to say no, but it's okay to lay low. It's okay. It's okay to forgive when you can't forget. It's okay to move forward without any regrets. It's okay to not know what's next because maybe, just maybe, this is just a test. It's okay when friends say goodbye. It's okay even if you never know why. It's okay to not fit in. It's okay to make new friends. It's okay to start over again and again and again. It's okay to be in a season by yourself. As long as you remember, you are never alone. It's okay to be unapologetically you, even if that means you acting brand new. It's okay to create your own safe space. And it's okay even if you have to take time to rediscover what it means to be you. It's okay if at some point you've gone astray. Because we'll all come back one day. It's okay to be patient. It's okay to be bold. It's okay to be confident. At the end of the day, it's okay to do whatever you deem best for you. But what is not okay to do is settle for less than God's best for you. Yeah, I told my sister I was going to go like this. I throw her after that because that came to me. And I thought that came to me out of the spirit. So, God, you did your big one. You wrote that. You wrote that because it's okay. It is okay. Stepping outside of your comfort zone, you probably go hit one or two or 12 or 25 or all of those, and probably some more that I didn't list. And it's okay. It's okay. I think it would be okay if somebody tells you that they stepped outside of their comfort zone and they didn't hit one of those steps. If they stepped out of their comfort zone and they didn't hit a trial. They stepped out of their comfort zone and they didn't have a difficulty. They stepped out of their comfort zone and they were not afraid. Like, y'all, I've been stepping outside of my comfort zone so much lately. I feel like I can't even identify the comfort zones no more. I could at first when I need to start, but now I don't even know a comfort zone is anymore. And even if I did, I think the biggest game changer for me when it came to comfort zones became I stopped fighting when God was pushing or nudging or urging me to step outside of it, right? I stepped out of my comfort zone when I started to show up for myself. I was not comfortable doing that. And I think sometimes we might even forget. I don't think I even mentioned this whole episode that it's not always about a person, place, or thing, but we talk about your mental space, your thinking, your thoughts, how they bother with they come out through your actions. However, I think sometimes a comfort zone can be as simple as something you're uncomfortable doing. Sometimes people's comfort zone is like going no conflict. Like they don't want to be controversial at all. They want to stay out of controversial situations, out of arguments, out of topics. They don't want no type of confrontation, right? And that's a comfort zone for them because they don't want to shake the boat or rock the boat any kind of way because they are fearful or uncomfortable doing that, right? They are fearful of what may be the outcome of that. So it makes them uncomfortable to be in that situation because they don't know what's going to happen or they don't know how to handle or address it. For example, a comfort zone that I had to step out of that made me uncomfortable was being associated with my father. I know, right? I know, right? Key, you on here telling us how all this was ruining your daddy and how it came from I know. I know. Didn't I tell y'all you got to step out the comfort zone? Did I tell y'all God playing this guy was playing to you? Didn't I tell y'all this stuff? And didn't I tell y'all I was living it? And that's the only reason why I can encourage you to do it. Because I'm doing it right now. But I was so uncomfortable with people knowing who my dad was. I was so uncomfortable with people coming and being like, you such and such daughter? No, no, like I wouldn't need to say my last name. Why do y'all think I go by K. Simone? Literally, I used to get to an argument with my mom because she would be like, oh, you're not using your last name on purpose. Girl, it's not about that. It's really about me. And it was really because at the time I was trying to have my own identity. I was trying to not be in the shadow of his name and be my own person. And I think that came from everything that we were told to do and all the foundation that he made us do as a kid. They also rooted him and rooted behind his man and rooted all this stuff. But I just wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to do fashion. So I was like, I'm going to brand myself around my name. Need something totally, totally different because, yeah, I'm uncomfortable being known as his daughter. And God was like, yeah, I know you're uncomfortable with that, but we're going to work on that. We're going to work on that. I'm going to plant this little seed right here. And yeah, you about 5 years cook. And yeah, you going to get to a place where you're no longer uncomfortable about it. And not because the fear or the worry or any of those things lead, but simply because I trust God now. I trust that God has a reason for making me do that. I allow God to take the time to heal me of the reasons why I didn't want to be in his shadow or I was uncomfortable with being known under his name. All those kind of things. And honestly, when you step outside of your comfort zone because God pushes you there and not because someone else does it or because you do the self-work behind it, it makes such a difference. So I'm going to hit y'all with the last thing that God gave me. And I don't know if some more examples going to come up popping to me, but I told y'all this is episode, so bear with me. I told y'all that when you step out of something, it's because you're meant to step into something else, right? And I know all y'all like, okay, well, what's the sweet spot? I heard all that stuff you was talking about. What's the sweet spot? Okay, step outside your comfort zone. You're gonna step to something else. But Siri said you're gonna be drained and stressed and all of this, all of that. Okay. So I thought long and hard about comfort zone and I came up with nothing. I came up with nothing. So as God put this in the mind and on my heart today, he instantly gave me the sweet spot, right? The sweet spot for stepping outside of your comfort zone against every possible obstacle or excuse, but still be at peace and not feel drained, is when you step out of your said comfort zone and into God's plan for you, into God's atmosphere for you, into God's healing for you, into God's next step for you, into God's arms so you can have comfort. That's literally one of the reasons why I made this blanket, because as I was growing and stepping outside of my comfort zones, I was crying, I was crying, I was crying, I was crying. And eventually, as I grew and I healed, I made the Dear God blanket. It literally said, Dear God, and it's hugging a heart, right? I hold my blanket close and it's following a bee's pattern, right? Of its travel pattern. And then it has a ton of little hearts all over it. And you pick up one of those hearts. And the reason I created that is because as I was growing out of my comfort zone and I was leaving places that I had no understanding of where I was going or what I was stepping into, I needed God all the time, all day, every day. Because, like I said, it may not be easy, it may not be cute, but I like comfort. And even though I'm leaving my comfort zone, I need the comfort of God as I was walking into and stepping into his plan that he don't always show us the full idea of. So it says, Dear God, and it's holding a heart, right? And it says, I hold my blanket close. And then it has a ton of hearts connected to a tree of life, right? Because who's the vine? The real vine? God. So when you need the comfort, because you stepped out of the comfort zone and you step over into something else, you step into the play he has for you. And most importantly for me, I was stepping into the comfort of God as I was stepping outside of the comfort zones that no longer was serving me. I grabbed the heart, right? When I can't hold back the tears, when I don't have the words to pray, when I need to feel your love and embrace, when I go deep in my prayer closet, when I feel like I'm all alone, when I need to hear your voice, when I want to have a bestie convo, when I need your provision, when I need to peacefully rest in you, when I am grieving my past, when I need a supernatural shift, and, fill in the blanks for yourself. Fill in the blanks for yourself. So the point of my blanket at that point and why I still hold it as a comfort zone, even when I'm having a hard day, even when I'm pushing past barriers, even when I'm starting to sing out in the choir, next thing I know, I got a mic in my hand, people staring at me, people looking at me, I can sing the wrong note. Baby, I'm stepping out here doing this podcast for y'all, off script. Don't know. Nobody will listen to my voice. I'm afraid to use my voice. I'm afraid of what's going to be said. I'm afraid of the scrutiny and the backlash. All of those are comfort zones. I'm afraid to leave stability and income through a certain type of job or anything because I'm afraid of losing all those things. And God's like, you're not losing anything, but you need to step out of what you're comfortable in to step into what I have for you, right? Because anything, and he taught me this like a week or two ago, reminded me a week or two ago. Anything that you hold on to outside of God's timing, or you go after outside of God's timing, or outside of his plan for you, you gotta keep up with by yourself. And that's what's gonna cause that stress, that uncomfortableness, that anxiety, that depression, all those things. And like, I don't want it no more. So if he said step outside the comfort zone and you won't do it, he gonna let that comfort zone wear you out until you come out, or you're gonna get sick and tired of it. And I just don't feel like getting to that place anymore. So I just like, okay, God, okay, I'm nervous, I'm scared. But what I'm gonna do is hold my Dear God blanket and we gonna rock a little bit. and we gonna hold a little bit, and we gonna pray a little bit, we gonna sing a little bit, and then he gives me peace. So as you step out of your comfort zone, the sweet spot is stepping into God's plan for you. And whatever you need, whatever tool you need to comfort yourself, if that's praying, if that's journaling, if that's support through a support group, if that is this blanket, if you like candles, if you need to go cry on the couch to your friend, if you need to scream out to get out your comfort zone, if you need to comment below what your comfort zone is and you want to talk about it, whatever you need, it's okay to get it, to receive it, to go after it, to ask for it, to feel and experience the full journey all the way in between. And it's okay if you don't get to the other side as fast as you would want to. We live in a time, I don't know if it's just millennials, I don't know if it's society, I don't know if it's the 2020s, I don't know what it is. But we live in a time where if we don't do something by a certain time, like, you're a failure. You're completely not valid. You're complete. Baby, and I was offended because by 30, I saw so much in my childhood. I was like, oh, I'm not going to be figuring my life out by 30. Oh, I'm not going to be unestablished by 30. I'm not going to X, Y, Z by 30. I didn't think I would have kids by 30 neither, but I got two. So I go all the way out school. But the point is, here I am at 29 at a sprinkle of months, a whole 30, completely starting over something I don't know how to do, I'm not aware of, and I'm having to trust God every step of the way. Talk about stepping outside of your comfort zone and going against the grain. Yeah, I'm doing all the things. I'm doing all the things. And if I'm doing it, that means you can do it. And if you need the support or some help, everything of all of our contacts are linked below. They're always linked on our page. You can always leave a comment. I can see you anything directly if you need to start showing up for yourself. And that's how you're going to start stepping outside of your comfort zones. Comment the shift challenge under this podcast, wherever you listen to it at. And I will send you that challenge to you so you can start showing up for yourself. If you need one-on-one individual support and coaching to get through your process because you need someone to really, really work on you and a large support group is not going to be the space for that for you, message me. I'm willing to do that for you. If you have a different viewpoint on comfort zone and you want to talk about it, hit me up. I want to talk about it because I've also at a space in my life and growing that I am never beyond learning new information. I'm never beyond a new point of view. I'm just gonna take it back to God and be sure, it's a focus that He wants me to have or it's something that He wants me to know or share. But other than that, I'm open to all the things. And I want you to be open to all things. Be open to the possibility of what could happen if you step outside of that comfort zone. Be open to the possibility of how much better you could become, how much better your life could get, how much stronger you could discover that you are, how much more joy your life could have, how much more peace you could be at, how much more happiness you could be feeling, how much more progression you could find yourself accomplishing if you step outside of something, no matter how big or how small, it's a comfort zone for you that's hindering you. If you just take the leap to step out of it, I know it's not easy. I know it won't be fast. But in all that, I still know that you could do it because I did it. I'm doing it right now as we're talking. So, y'all, this is the longest episode I never made. But I told y'all, God had it. He had it. So I hope I said something, or even by impromptu poll, you will remember it and you would truly, truly walk away today understanding what a comfort zone is, how to identify a comfort zone, how to go about finding the root of the comfort zone if you can't identify it yet, challenging yourself to figure out why you think that. Then, once you challenge yourself, go ahead and find you a motivation to say, hey, look, I know this might be difficult, but if I step outside of this, this is what I can use as motivation for it on the other side. And then understand that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay for all the in between. You're never alone. But what's not okay is to settle for less than God's best for you. Because you not gonna go back and, ask God to be like, he like, why did you settle for less? I had so much more for you. Why did you settle for less? They were like, cause Key said, no, she did. No, she did. No, she did. Cause I'm not settling for less than God's best for me. And I'm not gonna let you do it either. So sis, you're watching, you're listening, we're locked in. Do not settle for less than God's best for you. Lock in with me on all our social medias. Because yes, it's okay for us to stay connected. It don't cost nothing. And I can stay connected to y'all and know what y'all got going on. Also, if this podcast is helpful to you to any degree, or you know someone that it will be helpful to you to, please, 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 please tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, share, and comment, because it's beyond the numbers for me. It's beyond being a podcast host or content creator. It's truly, truly finding the group of women and the group of people that my voice will matter to, and sharing my story will matter to, because it will help them get out of that place. I know it feels like to be the places and comfort zones that you have no idea how to get out of. You don't know if you're coming, if you're going, and no one around you seems to understand or get it. I get it. And if I don't get your specific situation, I still care enough to take it back to God. I still care enough to support you through even a situation I had to personally experience. Okay? So please like, please share, please comment. Because I need to interact with y'all. I sit here and talk to y'all on camera, or talk to me on camera for y'all. And y'all don't comment so we can have a conversation. I don't like that. I don't like that. So comment on this episode, y'all. If you made it to the end, you hear it, comment on this episode. And that's probably all I got for y'all today. So until the next episode, we'll see if it's the plan I got or it's the plan God got. But until episode 8.